If you're a bit late to the party and you have registered to vote, Toombs and I just did this now, and you want to know where your voting station is, in case you've forgotten all those years ago, just SMS your ID number to 32810. I got this from the IEC Twitter account. SMS your ID number to the cell phone number 32810, and I just saw where I'm registered now. I actually forgot. I've moved a bit. Luckily, I'm in the right place, so I can still get there.
I'm so envious because I found out that my voting station is in Midrand, Ellendale. There's a tent close to Jacques Gay View. So if you see me there, please just take a picture with, of course, our inked, indelible ink, of course, on our thumbs, and let's post it up on social media on @eNCA on Twitter. So if you are in Midrand, make sure that you are there, but also just double check 32810. You said
that's it,
is where you can SMS your ID number, just in case you're not sure where to vote.
All right, so let's take you to where our polling stations are going to be later. No cameras there. Where there are cameras, though, Dasen, Thathiah and Monique Mortlock, hello to you. Dasen, let's come back to you again. We're talking weather a little bit later. Clearly, no chance of rain where you are, but there's always, isn't there, Dasen, in KZN, a chance of disruptions, which is why I saw a moment ago police behind you. You're in one of the hotspots, aren't you?
Gareth, that's always the conversation, unfortunately, when we're talking about KwaZulu-Natal. But as I mentioned to you earlier, the police, in their efforts yesterday, are trying to say to the public here that don't worry, we've got this under control, we'll minimize incidents, even though there were those that popped up over the weekend. This is the results center where we are now, expected to be a lot busier later today and during the course of tomorrow. There are also police stationed at all of the polling stations. That was determined by risk. The high-risk ones have more police officers. The low-risk ones, which are we're happy to report that that's the majority here in KwaZulu-Natal. They have at least 2 or 3 officers that are stationed there. So lots of moving parts here, and certainly, all of the efforts have been made by the IEC and the SAPS to keep things safe. But what I can tell you is that one of the concerns, or one of the reasons why there are concerns, is because there seem to be a lot of unresolved issues in KwaZulu-Natal regarding things like councillors, regarding traditional leadership, and unfortunately those matters in some areas have not been sorted out, and they are now rearing their head as we approach, or at least as election day has started.
Yeah, indeed. And just also looking over at Western Cape as a province, Monique, I mean, let's first reflect, I suppose, on the special voting weekend that was before we reflect on today. We know in other parts of the country, like Dasen mentioned earlier, in KZN, it seems our community members were not too pleased with lack of basic service delivery in the area there, which sparked maybe some protests even around the country. Was it the case in the Western Cape province, just in terms of that special vote weekend?
I'm in the Northern Cape province, and from what we heard from the IEC yesterday, we were at the Results Operations Centre. Special voting weekend went off largely without a hitch. On that first day, on Saturday, there were some logistical issues that caused certain voting stations to open late. But the IEC then said the second day went a lot smoother with minimal issues. There were no issues in terms of any protests or any unrest or conflict at the different voting stations. And the Northern Cape's IEC said that this is what they're expecting for today as well, a calm and a peaceful voting day. But of course, they are prepared for any eventuality. And if there should be any conflict arising at any voting stations, they have security in place, and besides police officers being stationed at the different voting stations, they also have 28 men in cloth, and these are religious leaders that they will be placing at strategic points across the province to ensure that there's peace and that there's calmness, and wherever a conflict may arise, that they are then there to quell any tensions. But the IEC telling us yesterday they couldn't be more prepared. The special voting weekend, they were able to conclude the majority of those home visits, and a little later today we'll be checking in just how many of those people who were registered for special votes actually went to the polls or actually cast their ballots over this weekend here in the Northern Cape. And what we know is that all in all, there are about 623,000 registered voters in the Northern Cape, making it the smallest electorate. But because it's the biggest province in terms of geographical size in the country, it's quite a vast area for those different IEC area managers to cover. Right now, where I am, I'm at the Eureka Primary School. To my left, we have some ANC members setting up a stand. To my right, we have some DA members setting up a stand, and political parties, although they have to stop campaigning, they are allowed to be positioned outside of voting stations as long as they are a certain distance from those doors. And inside, IEC officials are setting up, getting things ready for 7 o'clock when the polls open.
Right. So just correction there, you are in the Northern Cape, not the Western Cape as previously mentioned by myself. Monique, you are in the Northern Cape out there tracking what's happening in the province.
I did it yesterday as well. We're so used to Monique being in the Western Cape. We've somehow found her a high-speed car and sent it to
to put
the
some
Northern
respect
Cape.
on Monique's name, right?
Exactly. Sorry about that, Monique. We'll get that one right later in the day, I promise. What is no doubt, though, is Silindelo Masikane. You're with us out in Johannesburg. The sun has now risen, Silindelo, with you standing what looks like probably about 50 meters behind you. I'm seeing a Metro police vehicle, and I'm seeing people walking up with their camping chairs. This is when we start getting that feeling, don't we, that this is election day.
Yeah.
Your camping chair, your snack pack, your mask,
yeah,
and your pens. Lee, I'm seeing people already sitting and waiting, and where were we? About 50 minutes away from the polls opening.
I mean, if what you're seeing behind me is anything to go by, Gareth, it's definitely going to be interesting to see the numbers that are going to come out of this election day. We find ourselves here in Dasen. We're at a voting station that has been set up on the corner of William Nicol as well as Broadacres Avenue. And I'm quite amazed to see the number of people that have actually come out here today, Gareth. It's not even 6:30 yet, and we're already seeing a queue forming outside of those voting stations. I mean, officials have only literally just arrived moments ago. Their material has just arrived in terms of candidate lists, in terms of ballot boxes, in terms of their IEC t-shirts. I mean, they're still setting up and getting ready, but already we are seeing that eligible voters have come out quite early, possibly to try and just get this done as quickly as possible. And we know, of course, with the COVID-19 pandemic, that there are certain protocols that are going to have to be followed ahead of voters voting. So people are social distancing, people are wearing their masks, and of course they're also being encouraged to constantly sanitize. And of course the IEC also asking voters to try and bring their own pens, even though those will be made available. And the queue keeps growing, Gareth. I'm going to try and speak to some of these eligible voters. You know, you spoke about camp chairs, so people are certainly ready to spend some time here. Good day, sir. How are you?
Morning, how are you?
Morning. You're quite early today. Are you here to vote, and what brought you out so early?
Sorry?
Are you here to vote, and what brought you out so early this morning?
Yes, to vote, yeah.
Yes. Why is it so important to you to come out and cast your vote?
Well, it's local elections. It's important what happens in my area where I live.
Yeah. What are some of the issues you'd like to see addressed in your area?
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Everything.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you.
Crime.
Crime.
And crime and crime and crime.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Gareth, I'm going to try and speak to some of those who actually brought their camp chairs, because I'm quite interested to know, does this voting station, ma'am, get quite busy? Is this why you came out so early?
No idea. We this is where we had to come vote. So yeah.
Why is it so important for you to come and cast your vote today?
Sure. No, we definitely need change. We need some stability in our municipalities.
What are some of your major issues here in your area?
In our area, all good. But yeah, I think you can cast.
Sir, can you just maybe take me through some of the issues of service delivery that you have in your area, if any at all?
Yeah, the municipalities are a mess, man. There's crime. It's a crime and service delivery.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. The current party that's running it don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So we need change. Yeah. So it's important to be here. We wanted to get here early, and get it done earlier. Yeah.
Would you encourage other South Africans to come out?
100%.
Yeah.
If it takes all day, they've got to put their X on that piece of paper. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your time. All right, as you can hear, quite a crucial point that that eligible voter is making, saying that, you know, if you want to see change in your area, the only way to do that is to go out and exercise that very critical right to vote.
Yeah, it's make your X and mark your X down if you want to see change in your area. Silindelo, Masikane in Johannesburg, Dasen, Thathiah down in KZN, and Monique Mortlock, not in the Western Cape. I'll get it right next time. Up in the Northern Cape in Kimberley. Thank you very much indeed. When we go back to them again, I think I want to get a better sense of the COVID-19 restrictions. What does it look like in a polling station? You know, when you go to a shopping centre, we got the stickers, stand 1.5 metres apart. I'm curious, in a polling station, so it's our first election during COVID. What does it look like? How strict are they? What about sanitizer? So when you go back again, I think we'll ask them about that.
They should, of course, want to look at it, especially because I did see just behind Dasen Thathiah there, people getting screened, getting tested, sanitized. Quite important. Is it happening in your area?